Hello, and welcome to the video. My name is Lex, and today I am going off on a sort of tangent. This guy is not a Pokemon. He's not... well, you know what? He is an animal. He's a normal animal. But, I've decided to draw all 12 of the Zodiac signs, starting with the first one, who is Aries, or which is Aries, symbolized by the color red and a ram. And in my head, I had this grand idea of like having him jumping through the Aries emblem, which I'll draw in a little bit. But except, I could have done that on paper, and then I could have scanned it in and colored it in from there. But I wanted to make a goal to do more of my rough drafts, which I'm doing right now on here, on digital, so you guys could see my process. Except, sometimes when I do it on digital, for some reason, like, things don't go as planned. I oftentimes have to choose the simplest pose that I normally wouldn't have chosen. I'm not entirely sure why, but on paper I don't have that problem. So, next time, I think I'm gonna draw Taurus, who's a second zodiac sign, on paper, and I'm gonna see how that goes, because this guy was really good practice, but I decided that I want to make them more complex. And that is the Aries sign up on the right that I'm coloring in right now. Very vibrant red. Supposed to look like a helmet, like the eye guards on a helmet. Pretty cool stuff. Because Aries people are supposed to be stubborn, yes, but also like warriors, and they're supposed to be strong, and I'm not an Aries. I am the exact opposite of an Aries, actually. I'm a Libra. But my best friend in middle school was an Aries, which is kind of funny because we're polar opposites, but evidently signs that are on the opposite of the wheel. Zodiac people know what I'm talking about. People who don't know Zodiac are probably like, what the heck? There's a giant wheel, and there are 12 signs. And on that wheel, there's a sign directly opposite of you, and that is your polar sign. And those people are supposed to be the exact opposite of your personality, except when you're together, you complement each other. Really weird, not exactly easy to understand. I mean, it kind of is, but the only reason I know this is because I went through a really big Zodiac phase when I was in middle school. Like, I had the books, I had the tarot cards, and yes, I still like tarot cards. But I'm not so much into Zodiac anymore, but I know a lot about it, just 'cause I was really into it for a while. They're fun. I mean, it's basically like a personality test. A lot of people like taking those online personality tests. Like, I remember when I was in high school, all the rage to take personality tests and like share them with your friends, whatever. And if you guys have heard of 16 personalities, or what is it? The Freud personality test. I forgot. The Jung? It's supposed to be Jung, or maybe it is Jung. I don't know. Personality test. That's a good one. That's a common one. But you know what? You'll take it another day, and you're a completely different thing. Like, it changes depending on the day, what mood you're in. So do I believe in personality tests? They're fun. Like, there's no arguing that they're fun to take and be like, oh, haha, this is what I am. And like, I'm so special. But at the same time, like, you'll take it another day, and you'll get a completely different answer, and you're like, well, that's great. I liked my old answer. I remember doing that when I was in middle school too, taking the same tests like a month apart and being like, well, that's like a completely different thing. But yes, this is Aries, and Aries is fun. Aries is symbolized by the color red and a ram, because rams are stubborn and they're cool. And mind you, when I say stubborn, I'm not like, that's not necessarily a bad personality trait. Sometimes stubbornness can get you really far in life. But I don't think people shouldn't think of stubbornness as negative as they have in the past. Because if you just go with the flow everywhere, which, by the way, Libras, myself, are known for, then you won't get anywhere. Sometimes you need to push for yourself, advocate for yourself. And that is what Aries people are known for. When I was drawing this guy, I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to go with a realistic approach or a simple, almost a chibi look. And he ended up somewhere in between. I'm not entirely sure if I love it. I don't love it. I don't mind it. But I think on the Taurus one, which is sign number 2, I think I'm gonna go with a more simple look. Almost like a stencil-y sort of thing. We'll see, because a lot of times I have an idea in my mind and I end up going with something different. I'm like, ooh, that clicks, I like that, and I end up going with that instead. We'll see. I definitely have the mind of an artist. Like, you have one idea, you're like, yeah, let's do it, and then you start doing it, and you're like, no, I want to do something else, and you're all over the place. Like the social butterflies of the art world. Or the media world. But not even that social, just all over the place, just scatterbrained is all. And here I'm using the cut tool. I haven't used it in a while, but when I first started doing digital art, I used it a lot. It kind of has a sort of a puzzle looking feel to it, and now I'm shading in to make them look more realistic, because the cut tool is really good for putting down base colors, especially if you have sharp edges that are harder to color in with a brush. However, it's really only good for base colors, and if you layer cut tools on top of cut tools or whatever, you can actually get a really cool kind of a retro vibe. I don't know, what is it, pop art vibe? However, I've never used it for that. I usually only use it for my base color and then I go on, and lately I haven't been using it at all. Like, I only used it on his hoofs here, but I think I'm gonna start to go back to doing the cut tool because I'm relatively new to digital art. I've only been doing it for about 3 months, and so I still have a lot to learn, and I started with the cut tool. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I went away from the cut tool. It takes a lot longer, but I'm not in love with that either, and I think I liked the cut tool more, so I think I'm going to use that to do my base colors, and then I'm going to shade on top of them with different colors to make it more realistic, and that's how I'm going to go from there. Lots of words just to say I'm going to go back to the cut tool. And when I was drawing this guy, I actually used about 4 references, and the way his legs were originally, the first leg is almost how I want it. The back leg is how I traditionally drew my animals when I was younger, but the problem with the back leg is that it looks like it's almost just stuck on there. It doesn't even look like it's part of the animal. It just looks like pin the leg on the ram, bop, like pin the tail on the donkey, you know. But I'm trying to make it meld or go together more, and so the first leg is good. I liked how that turned out, and I got that from looking at a reference photo. I'm like, that's what I'm doing wrong. And I got rid of that white color that was on his stomach because it was just too overwhelming and it didn't look right. And now I'm adding muscle structure onto that back leg, trying to make it look more realistic. But again, he didn't really turn out realistic, especially in the face. He turned out more in between simplistic and realistic, which is okay, I guess. I don't hate him. I don't love him. There's work that can be done, and sometimes that's a very important lesson for not only artists, but writers and actors and everything. Just, there's always more work to be done. There's always something to improve on. Now I'm manipulating his shape, because it seems like people like to look at things at an angle more. I'm not sure why, but it seems to be more popular. Putting down the base layer, and then I'm going to use a smudge tool to smudge it up and give it that weird effect, and I really like that effect, actually. I'm quite fond of it. The first time I used it was when I did the meerkat video for the sunset behind him, and the meerkat video was super simple. The meerkat was kind of bleh, but I liked how the sunset looked, so I decided to keep on doing it, and I'm a fan. I like it, so I think I'm going to keep on using it. And now I'm adding on the finishing touches to the Aries emblem. Decided that that red polka dot thing wasn't gonna fly. That's just not an Aries thing. And he's almost done. And so as this video comes to an end, I'm gonna thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. Consider liking if you enjoyed it or if you learned something, because you know what? Zodiacs may or may not be real, but they are interesting, and I think a lot of people can agree with that. If you like personality tests, then you probably like Zodiac. So thank you very much, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. See you, bye.